Police are now confirming a second homicide connected to the mass shooting outside North Albion Collegiate Sunday night. The mayor and police chief visited the community this afternoon. We're also learning more about what happened that night from one of the survivors of the shooting. Greg Ross joins us live in Etobicoke. And Greg, what's happening there today?
Well, Calda, I can tell you that Mayor Olivia Chow and Chief Myron Demkew were here to take part in a community walk. They're working with religious leaders here in this community. They actually held a prayer circle with some of the residents here. And they've also been walking around the community, talking to residents and trying to assure them that they're doing everything they can to keep this community safe. Now, just a little while ago, the chief was asked about the death of 46-year-old Seymour Gibbs, one of the victims of Sunday's shooting, who died in hospital yesterday. Originally, police said that they were going to wait for the results of an autopsy before determining whether or not his death was connected to Sunday's shooting. Well, today, the chief saying that he has received information and they are now calling Gibbs' death a homicide, the second homicide in this shooting. 61-year-old George Parks was the other victim who died after that shooting on Sunday. One of the other 5 men who was shot that night was here for this community walk today, 56-year-old Baldwin Thomas. He was shot 4 times, 3 times in his back, and another bullet grazed him on the top of his head, where he now has a massive scar. Today, he talked about what he remembers from that night.
I got 4 shots. I got 1 and 3 in my back. It's crazy because, you know, standing there having fun, playing domino, enjoying ourselves, and then this happened. I leave the hospital the next day. The doctors told me that I'm a miracle man, so I'll still keep on praising God, lift up my hands to God, and live.
How well did you know the 2 men that died, George?
They're brothers. I know them over 25 years. All my kids them grow up here. This is where we spend all of our summer, barbecuing, playing soccer, playing cricket. You name the sport, domino, we do everything here.
Thomas says he's lucky to be alive. He says that Parks and Gibbs were 2 of his closest friends. Thomas also told us that the other 2 shooting victims are doing well. He says one of them is still in hospital and the other has been released. Now, both the mayor and the chief stressing today the importance of togetherness, the importance of not only the community coming together, but leaders from the city coming out to make sure that they're here to support them. And like I said, they also stressed the importance of making sure that residents in this community feel safe, which is why they wanted to be here to talk to the residents, to make sure that they're aware of what is being done here. Mayor Chow also talked about the importance of making sure that the people who are responsible for this shooting are brought to justice.
It is absolutely horrific that people can descend to such cruelty and open fire. And this is not the first incident. There had been other incidents. And we need to ask ourselves, as a society, what can we do to prevent this from happening?
Let me be really clear that the full resources of the Toronto Police are being made available to the investigators, and we will be standing with this community shoulder to shoulder and making sure that there's a sense of safety and security, and we will be here for as long as that takes.
So last Sunday, we had a group of men that gathered here in this parking lot where I'm standing right now to socialize, to be together. And they were attacked for seemingly no reason. And since then, we haven't seen a lot of people here in this parking lot. But tonight, you can see behind me that people are starting to gather again. People from the community are starting to come out and feel a little bit more comfortable, especially after what we saw here today with the mayor and the chief of police coming out to reassure these residents. And many of the residents telling us that it's more important now than ever for them to be out here and to be together, Calda.
Thanks so much, Greg.